First, we want money from this profession. If you agree with me, can I see your hands up? Excellent. Some other people would also want fame. If you agree with me, can I see your hands up? Some other people will want power from this profession. If you agree with me, okay. And so, in all of this, you choose what is important to you. As our faces are different, so are our desires different. And by the way, he mentioned being the senior advocate of Nigeria. Sometimes it might not just be your calling. Some people have met them, all they want to become is judicial officers. So, if you say emerging trend in judiciary, what is the emerging trend in judiciary? Which means that whatever it is anybody is discussing, it's not for you. Some other persons, some states, some local governments, they perhaps join hands to send that person to law school. And so when the person comes back, the ideal thing most times is to go back to the state and perhaps work for them. So if you're saying emerging trend, and with due respect to, he may be in Delta State. Exactly, in Delta State. With all due respect to that local government, if somebody goes back to the local government to work, please sir, what is his business with emerging trend? There is nothing. And so, for us, you need to also know if you want to be an in-house counsel, if you want to be on the bench, if you want to be on the streets. And so that would inform your decision as to what you want to do with your life. I just say inside that car, I say I will not come back to this thing. So even till date, whenever I go to Lagos, I do exactly what I need to do and I get out. Port Harcourt, on the other hand, that I have opportunity to either stay in. I'm also afraid of all those boys by the streets. People in Kwara, you guys will agree with me that you guys, all of us in Kwara, were usually afraid of things we don't know. Am I correct? Okay. The only other state I could actually live in is Abuja. Because Abuja is still not too far from Kwara, the way we live. And so for me, what determined where I actually chose to live or stay was as a result of how I was brought up. I'll tell you a story. One of my friends when we were in law school, no sir, not law school, doing NYC, the man used to complain that there's something missing. He came in from Lagos to serve in Enugu, and he said that state was too slow for him. And by the way, what he did to remedy, and he started having headache. So what he does, or what he did that time was, every day, whenever he wakes up in the morning, he will go to the market where people are hustling and pushing, and he says he just wants to feel Lagos. Now, if you advise such a person to go and live perhaps in Enugu, it will not work for him. So one of the things you also need to consider in where you're going to live or stay after practice is your type of lifestyle. And that will determine the emerging areas that you want to start thinking about or to start pushing. I once spoke at an event and I said, no matter how we speak about the new areas of practice, there are traditional areas that we still would not neglect. If you already know that you're going to be a judicial officer and you know the requirements, there's a path to it. Perhaps magistracy or perhaps working in the Ministry of Justice is your path. Also, if you know that you perhaps want to be an in-house counsel in any of these corporations, you already know your path and you continue to look forward and continue to press towards that. And my advice usually is this: when you sit down quietly and you think of where you want to be, begin to walk towards it. Your desire, like I said, might not be mine, and yours might not be what I want. One of the other things I did, after I was called to the bar, I had a conversation with one of my bosses, and he said to me, if you are going to be in private legal practice, you're nothing except you become a senior advocate of Nigeria. And for me, that was what was very important to me. And so from day one of the secrets of the things I did was I took the picture of one of the senior advocates. For purposes of this exercise, I will not say his name. I cut his head off, then took my passport, designed it, I pasted it on it, and I put it on my diary. So on the face of my diary there, you see a picture of a senior advocate. And so that each time I opened it, that is where I am going to. And so for you, for whatever it is you want, that is how to practically live a life that you know that you perhaps will be able to get whatever it is you want. So, in dealing with the emerging areas, yes, we've talked about the financial part, the criminal, cyber criminal law. We've also talked about issues as to artificial intelligence. In this place, I'm sure somebody had mentioned intellectual property. We mentioned, by the way, the e-Naira case. And I'll share a story with you. I write a lot. And one of these days, I wrote about intellectual property and on things about currency. Unknown to me, the central bank, of course, we were shopping for a lawyer that had an idea on financing, that has an idea about intellectual property, and of course, the new Naira design they wanted to do. So they sent words to me and said, random questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then I gave my answers. In fact, they told me to come and give a paper presentation, which I also did. Just addressing the point that my brother Isaiah mentioned. You don't know who is reading your works. Ladies and gentlemen, after I did that paper presentation, we've done more than 50 cases on Naira redesign and on e-Naira altogether. Just for one idea. Now, I understand part of the question that the young lady asked as regards, yes, you have book experience, but not practical experience. One of the things that should be at the back of your mind, and they do it a lot in my office, I see students, that gap of when they're on holidays, they come to the office as intern, we grant maybe 1 month, 2 months, depending on what you request for. Then you begin to see how the lawyers work. And I usually advise them, ensure that you are a part of the firm. See what it is that you're doing. By the way, in 2002, when my parents told me to go and study, my mom advised me that I should go to my uncle's office and see the way law worked, whether I liked it or not, and so that I can perhaps know where I will be. And so I did that between 2002 and 2007. Those years were my own formative years, and I decided that is this law or nothing for me. And so for you also, in furtherance to your development, after you're being called to the bar, and I've seen lawyers also come to my office to say, these new areas of practice or this social area of practice that I know that you're involved in, can I also learn from you? I say, the office is free, please come. And so one of the advice I would also give is for you to ensure that for practical sake, if you know that you need this area of practice, there is no top-tier law firm in Nigeria that perhaps don't allow internship. And you can continue to write. If you write to 10, I am sure one will come. So I encourage all of you to perhaps, first, one of the major things I mentioned today is know what it is you want, whether you want to be at the bar, or whether you want to be at the bench, or whether you want to be an in-house counsel. And I'm sure sure from there you will know whether these new emerging areas of practice is for you. Thank you very much.